Dingledorf is trying to communicate with you telepathically? What the? What did she say? We're gonna be reacting to YouTubers that became murderers.
VinnyBad118 was a YouTube channel owned and operated by Vincent Battloro from New Jersey. He'd been active on YouTube since.
He kind of looked a little off, honestly.
Channel owned and operated by Vincent Battloro.
Like, come on. You don't look a little, you know what I'm saying? Like something's going on. I don't know, man.
From New Jersey. He'd been active on YouTube since 2021 and mainly streamed himself playing sports games like MLB The Show. On September 30, 2025, he went live with another one of these streams. And for someone stumbling onto this live broadcast, nothing about it felt odd. That is, until they started watching and noticed his chat asking him odd.
Are you going to jail is crazy. I'm not gonna lie, if I was streaming and that came up, I'd be like, what the fuck did I do? What the fuck do you mean am I going to jail? Who randomly asked that?
Questions like, are you going to jail? And how are you gonna get paid in jail?
If it's a bunch of people, I'd be like, yo, I would start checking my socials. Like, did I fucking say something?
Things became even more strange when some of his viewers started calling him a killer over and over again. However, this label wasn't an exaggeration. As it turned out, Vincent was hosting this stream less than a day after.
Don't tell me he killed somebody for whatever and went home and started streaming like nothing happened. That's fucking nuts.
They're allegedly ending the lives of 2 teenage girls in a neighboring town, and he didn't seem the least bit remorseful. The incident happened on September 29th, just before 5:30 p.m. 17-year-old Maria Neotis and Isabella Salas were riding e-bikes in a residential neighborhood in Cranford, New Jersey, when they were suddenly hit by a speeding car seemingly out of nowhere. The crash was loud enough to get the attention of nearby residents. People rushed to help.
So was it an accident or he just fucking lose his mind for playing goddamn MLB all day?
Unfortunately, it was already too late.
Describe what those calls to police sounded like moments after Maria Neotis and Isabella Salas were mowed down by a black SUV driven by another teenager.
There's a girl on the road and there's a car. Oh my God, please hurry.
Bro, I'm sorry. These, like, whenever I watch stuff like this and you gotta hear like the 911 calls, that shit always gets to me, man. Because it's something about hearing like the pure like panic and like, you know, like the emotions in those calls. Them shits be sticking with you. That fuck you up.
First responders arrived at the scene. Both girls had already passed away. But what made the incident even more disturbing was just how shockingly violent it was. Later investigation revealed the car was going close to 70 miles per hour.
Was he on drugs or something?
In a neighborhood with a speed limit of just 25 miles per hour, or roughly 40 kilometers per hour.
Wait, he was doing 70 and a 25?
Speed limit of just 25 per hour, or it was. Later investigation revealed the car was going close to 70 miles per hour, or over 110 kilometers an hour, in a neighborhood with a speed limit of just 25 miles per hour, or
so was this like on purpose? Like, what's going on here?
Roughly 40 kilometers per hour. The resulting collision sent the girls flying across the street, with one victim coming to rest approximately 100 feet from the impact site.
Holy shit,
According to eyewitness reports, the driver tried to drive away immediately after the incident, but the crash was so violent that the impact—
Damn! That's crazy, man. All I can say is I hope that shit was instant. Then have to fucking— even that sounds crazy because it's just like I can't even imagine.
Impact had lodged one of the e-bikes into the car, forcing the driver to ditch it and flee on foot. Fortunately—
Wait, he just hit somebody, damaged the car, and then walked away and went to stream? There was something going on with this person, man.
This allowed investigators to run the license plate and trace the car back to its driver, 17-year-old Vincent Battloro. Vincent was called in for—
Wait, so how did the chat find out before anything? I guess maybe he was on the news, right? Or something like that?
It's unclear what exactly he told the police, but since the investigators didn't have any solid evidence of his personal involvement, he was let go the same night.
What? What do you mean he didn't have any evidence of his— it was his car. Or he was in the car, and didn't they just show footage of him walking away? Like, what?
Investigators were also treating this as an accident by this point, so they had no ground to detain Vincent just yet. However, this changed completely when one of the victims' families learned about Vincent's potential involvement. According to Maria's family, Vincent had been stalking and harassing her for months.
Oh, there it is. It's always a nut, bro. Like, come on.
At that point, they went to the same school, and Vincent was reported to have tormented her during multiple different instances. The two had never gotten along. Vincent would also allegedly follow Maria around anytime she went outside, and neighbors even saw him staking out her house in his car on multiple occasions.
Wait, so nobody did anything? They just let him hang out and creep around her house? Like, you can't sit here and tell me nobody was like, hey, maybe we should tell the police or get someone involved or something, we're just gonna let this fly. Like this shit was just eventually gonna escalate. You can't just let people do shit like that. That's crazy.
Behavior only worsened after Maria reported him to the school authorities about a month before the incident.
Okay, she says
Becoming
something.
Even more aggressive and making false police reports, even leading to her family getting swatted multiple times.
Oh, that's crazy. Because I also hear all the time how like women, you know, they'll report stuff like this happening to them and then nothing happens, and then something terrible ends up happening to them, and it's like it could have been so easily avoided if you just fucking did something.
In
That
one of
shit
his
pissed me
streams, he
off.
mentioned
Like,
how-
could you imagine that was like your daughter and she's like she's telling you like this person's stalking me and doing all this crazy shit, this weird shit, and the police refuse to do anything? Like, what do you do at that point? You know what I mean? Can you blame a parent if they take action into their own hands, you know, and do what they gotta do?
having a vengeance against Maria and even dedicated one of his old phones to harassing her, starting with ordering a pizza to her address.
This dude is a like certified loser. Like, get a grip.
Here's what we're gonna do. I think Maria's hungry. I think we're gonna send her a pizza. Cheer her up. So, y'all know I have a vengeance against this girl. I'm gonna call a pizza to her house, and here's how I'm gonna do it.
Your dude's weird, man.
Investigation also revealed that Vincent's own parents had called the police 4 times regarding his increasingly violent and out of control behavior over the last few months.
You're his parents. Do something, like send him somewhere. You know what I mean? Like, don't the police? I don't know. Like, it's crazy how social services can get involved with like kids or whatever. But then when parents are reporting or like saying, "Hey, I need help. My kid's crazy," like they don't do shit. Like, how does that work? I don't get it.
He was becoming more erratic, and combined with Maria getting him in trouble at school, was likely harboring deep resentment towards her. Put simply, there was a strong chance that what happened wasn't an accident.
I mean, at
possibly
this
wanted to
point, there's no way it was an accident. Like the videos, the shit he was saying on stream, come on, it wasn't an accident.
take his anger out on Maria, and Isabel was just collateral in his messed up plan. Now, while the investigators were piecing all this together, Vincent decided to go live on YouTube and pretend like everything was completely normal. However, people in his community had learned about his possible involvement in the case by this point.
Okay, now
in the chat
these
messages we mentioned earlier.
Yeah, okay, those make
He tried
sense
to
now.
dismiss these messages as just hate comments and drama, but eventually decided to address the situation in the vaguest terms possible.
In a neighboring town, unfortunately, 2 girls were killed in a hit-and-run crash. Now,
You gotta be like a certain type of evil ass person to know damn well you murdered somebody like that, and then just to get on stream and act like you didn't do the shit. Come on, man.
there has been a lot of misinformation going on over the internet. It is an absolute unfortunate situation, and there's more to the story that you're not getting.
Wrap it up.
But when the time comes, I will explain it in greater detail.
What? That's a red flag. Hello? What do you mean? That's basically him damn near admitting he was involved somehow.
He was likely speaking this way to avoid an accidental admission of guilt. However, this stream could still help investigators bring him to justice.
That's pretty
You
much him
see,
saying he
while
did this
was
shit.
Live on YouTube, investigators were gathering evidence to prove that he was behind the wheel. This led to the discovery of ring camera footage from a nearby street, showing him speeding in the neighborhood before the incident and then walking back on foot minutes after everything went down. This, combined with eyewitness testimonies, allowed investigators to arrest him a day later on October 1st and charge him with 2 counts of first-degree murder. His channel has since been terminated by YouTube. Prosecutors are also pushing to have Vincent tried as an adult to secure the full sentence they believe he deserves.
Lock his ass up. Some people just, like I said, they're just evil, man. They need help or some. I don't know, man.
Recording this because I want my daughter to know that I love you, Mackenzie Pascal. I'm so sorry that I've done this. I want you to know that you mean everything to me.
Don't tell me this dude killed his own daughter or something, because I don't even have the words for that type of shit.
This was the final video 48-year-old Trent Pascal uploaded to YouTube on October 21st, 2020. His content up until that point was a mix of family vlogs, DIY tips, and RC toy reviews. He came across as a laid-back, middle-aged dad enjoying time with his family, but the video he uploaded in October 2020 was different. It wasn't a wholesome vlog or toy review with his kids. Instead, this was a confession Trent posted to YouTube after committing a heartless crime just so he could paint himself as the victim. The day started off rough, with Trent having a massive argument with his wife, Savannah. Details of what exactly caused this argument are unknown, but according to some reports, it had something to do with Trent's overprotective and envious personality. He was reportedly very insecure about the 18-year age gap between him and Savannah. He saw anyone even remotely close to her as a threat, and
You know what? That's like a very common thing actually that I've learned about. Like when older men date younger women or so much younger than them, like, and I don't even mean like younger, like if you're like in your late 20s and someone's like 18 like that. I just mean just in generally like way younger than them. You start to feel insecure because at any moment you feel like she has other options available to her as you know what I mean? And I'm heard that's like a very common thing to happen. That's why if you're an older person, just date your age range, man. Because it's just, I'm not saying it can't work, but that insecurity is something that's very common in these types of relationships.
tried to control every aspect of her life, which also led to many clashes between the two over the years. Regardless of the reason, the argument on October 21st ended with Savannah dropping their two kids at school and then driving over to live at their mother Shirley's house in Lamarck, Texas. Neighbors also saw Trent storming out not long after. Savannah and Shirley went out to check on the kids at school later that day before returning home at around noon. Shirley went straight to the master bedroom to freshen up, but nothing could have prepared her for what was waiting for her inside. The moment she stepped into the bathroom, Trent leaped out from behind the shower curtain with a firearm in his hand. And before she could even register what was going on, Trent announced that he was going to end both her and Savannah and opened fire. Fortunately, he missed the mark, giving Shirley the opportunity to escape to a neighbor's house and call for help. Sadly, Savannah wasn't as lucky. Trent managed to shoot her twice in the stomach before fleeing the scene. She was rushed to the hospital, but
It's just like senseless shit, man. Like, I don't know. I just hate seeing stuff like this happen, and it's like it's so unnecessary. Like, what? I don't even have the words for this type of shit. Like, I don't know, man. It's sickening.
passed away shortly after. Though, while Savannah was fighting for her life, Trent uploaded this video to his now deleted second channel, explaining his reasoning for the
What a douchebag too. You like just a shitty person. Like you plan to murder somebody, your wife and daughter, and then when you knew shit was up for you and you're probably going to jail, you're like, oh, let me try to look innocent. Like there's no coming out on top of this for you. Like it doesn't make any sense.
heinous crime. He accused Savannah of cheating on him and claimed that she was the one who made him do this. However, to most people who came across this video,
And I don't care if somebody cheats on you. Like I don't care. Like, is that a shitty thing? Yes, absolutely terrible thing. But that doesn't justify murdering somebody. Just break up, get a divorce, whatever, and move on with your life. And obviously that's easier said than done. But at the same time, like, you're really going to ruin your own life and other people's lives because of something like that? It's pathetic.
it was clear that Trent posted the video so he could portray himself as the victim. He even seems to try a fake crime multiple times during the video, but failed
It's not going to work. You murdered two people. I don't care what you say in that video. It's up for you, buddy. You're going to jail.
to shed a single tear. Many also assumed the cheating accusation was likely false, but even if it wasn't, it was still no justification for taking her life. That said, the most disturbing part of this video was the very end, which showed Trent hearing a noise and immediately rushing to hide in a dark room. Closely listening to this section revealed a plastic rustling noise, similar to what shower curtains sound like when moved. In other words, Trent was possibly recording this final message in Shirley's home moments before they arrived, and then quickly ran to the bathroom when he heard the two pull into the driveway. He fled Lamarck immediately after committing the crime, prompting a statewide manhunt.
Yeah, so that just confirms the fact that it was all premeditated on top of that. Like, you're done, buddy.
This ended with the police tracking him down to a Walmart parking lot in Houston later the same day. However, Trent drew his firearm on the officers and refused to back down despite repeated warnings. This left deputies with no choice but to open fire, hitting him several times across the abdomen. He was then taken to a hospital where he spent over a month recovering from his wounds. He was eventually booked into the Galveston County Jail on charges of murder, aggravated assault, and possession of a firearm. Now, this is usually where stories like this end, but that's not what happened with
How can it get any worse? How can this shit get any worse?
Trent. Despite the deeply violent nature of his crimes, he was allowed to leave on bail after
What? How do you get on bail? How do you even get bail for that type of shit? That's crazy.
paying $550,000. He was fitted with a GPS ankle monitor and ordered to stay at his mother's house until his conviction. Trent...
I'm sorry, if my kid did that shit and they got out on bail, I don't want them anywhere near me. I'm sorry, like at a certain point as a parent, I don't care how old your child is, you gotta have like a limit. Like, and my kid committing murder in this fashion, like I don't care. You like don't even associate with me anymore.
Initially complied with these orders, but on April 13th, 2021, he removed his ankle monitor, stole a car at knife point after taking it on a test drive from a dealership, and vanished without a trace. This triggered a massive multi-state manhunt. The police spent months...
I swear to God, if he got away because of some stupid shit like this, it's just like, what are we doing, man?
Looking for Trent.
I feel like if you commit murder, you should not have bail. You should be locked up until trial or whatever the case is. You shouldn't have the option to go because you're a flea risk every time.
He was still nowhere to be found. This also left Savannah's family in a constant state of fear, as Trent could show up at any time to cause
exactly.
The run finally ended nearly 9 months later in January 2022 when the U.S. Marshals received a tip that a man matching Trent's description was staying at a small RV park in Ocala, Florida. Officers rushed to the scene and surrounded a van where they believed he was hiding. But before they could break in and apprehend Trent, he decided to end everything on his own, robbing Savannah's family of seeing any justice through the legal system.
No surprise there, of course. That's what these cowards always do. They want to murder other people, and then when it's time for them to face their crimes, guess I'm gonna kill myself. Like, come on.
Lane Maurice Davis joined YouTube all the way back in September 2009.
He just got one of them faces too, man. Like, you just got one of them. Like, I hate to be judgy and like, you know what I mean? Sometimes it's in the eyes, man. It's in the fucking eyes.
Under the name Seattle for Truth. Most of his videos have since been deleted by YouTube for policy violations, but they were mainly about right-wing political commentary and
he is one of those. Yep. Okay.
Rants about current events. Some of these videos also revolved around Lane trying to prove various conspiracy theories. Lane also did an internship under British far-right...
Like, I'm all for a cool conspiracy theory, but if you're one of those type of people, you got to be careful because that shit, like, if you dig deep and you really start like going into that shit and researching that stuff can get in your head. And a lot of the times, whether it's true or not, you can start to convince yourself that it's true, and then you just start going like you can mess yourself up. So you got to be careful of that type of shit.
Commentator Milo Yiannopoulos at one point.
Big ass forehead.
It didn't last very long. So his YouTube channel was the only thing Lane focused on for most of his adult life. But while he did have a sizable following across socials, most of his videos didn't attract enough viewers to provide a sustainable income. This forced Lane to live with his parents and rely on them for monetary needs.
That's loser shit, bro. I'm sorry. Like, you can want to do YouTube. This is a side note, but you can want to do YouTube, but like, you should always treat it as a hobby for the most part. Like, even if you want to do it successfully and make it a career, it's such a volatile and difficult thing to make happen. You should never set it as like a priority in life if you don't have shit already in order. If you don't at least have a job, like there's nothing wrong with living with your parents, but you don't have a job, you're not paying any bills, and you're only doing YouTube. Like, that's just a recipe for disaster. You need a job and you need hobbies. You need things other than just YouTube, because you're going to go crazy sitting in your fucking room making YouTube videos, and that's all you do and that's all you think about. Is you can ask any creator that does this shit for a living. It can get to you after a while. Even when you are successful and you're doing it as a full-time thing, you still have to make time to do other things in your life because it just gets to you. And I'm not saying being a YouTuber is the hardest thing in the world or content creator is the hardest thing in the world, but I'm saying it has its drawbacks and it can fuck with you mentally. And if it's the only thing you're focusing on in your life, it can be bad. It's a recipe for disaster.
Which apparently was a major source of tension in their relationship. His parents...
Yeah, I would imagine your fucking kid doesn't do shit. They don't at least have a basic job, like any job, not helping out at all. And they're just sitting in, I guess, in their room doing like, just playing, not playing, or just doing nothing really. That shit can be annoying.
Also had differing political views from their son, leading to frequent arguments, especially with his father Charles. And the back and forth on the night of July 14, 2017 started off as no different. As the argument became more heated, his mother Catherine dialed 911 and calmly asked for assistance, stating, He's not physically threatening us or anything. He just gets out of control and he's ranting about stuff from the internet.
See, because he has nothing else going on in his life, and he's just focused on his stupid ass conspiracy theory bullshit that he was making on YouTube. And it's just like I said, he had nothing else going on, and it got to him. It's crazy. Like, you should have kicked his ass out a while ago, or checked his ass, because it was only gonna end in one shitty way.
He's not working, and he just gets on these rampages, and he just needs to move on. He just lives on the internet, and he gets really worked up about everything that's going on. He needs an intervention of some kind.
Let that be a warning to everybody. Not, if you're on the net, it's cool, but know when to log off. Know when to, like, discern reality from fiction. And even if something is real, try not to consume all the terrible shit that's going on every day. Like, it's a lot of shit, and you should stay informed, but you have to know when to step away, take a break, and, like, enjoy your life regardless, because it will get to you, and it'll depress you, it'll drive you crazy. You just, unfortunately, I hate to sound crazy, but sometimes you just have to not care about shit for, like, a while that's going on, and just focus on your own life, because that's just how it is.
The dispatcher instructed Catherine and Charles to keep their distance until the police arrived, but she downplayed the threat, saying she'd seen many similar outbursts in the past and that he wouldn't turn violent. Unfortunately, she couldn't have been more wrong.
That's just only going to escalate.
Just a few minutes later, Catherine dialed 911 again, and this time in a far more frantic state, screaming phrases like, "He stabbed him," and repeating, "He's dead," over and over again. Officers were already on their way from the first call Catherine made and reached the house within minutes. Inside, they found Charles lying on the floor with his clothes covered in blood. According to reports, Lane became even more aggressive after the first 911 call and stabbed his father multiple times with a kitchen knife. By the time police arrived,
what a fucking
Charles
loser,
had
man.
passed away. Lane likely regretted his decision immediately, as officers saw him standing outside the front door with his hands in the air, waiting to be arrested. He later pleaded guilty to second-degree murder as part of a plea deal and was sentenced to 17 years in prison. His YouTube channel now sits completely abandoned.
I'm surprised they didn't delete the channel. Didn't they delete the other dude's channel earlier in the video? You'd think they would have deleted this shit too. Also, yeah, trash-ass thumbnails.
In many of these cases, the transition from content creator to criminal is marked by a clear, calculated decision. But with Jessica Worsham, known online as the Indigo Mystic on YouTube, the path was much more blurred.
I'm not sure I was expecting to see like a woman on this list. Usually I just figured it was all going to be like crazy ass dudes.
Channel serving as a digital diary for a woman who is visibly losing her grip on reality. Jessica started her channel in 2013 to post occasional videos on whatever topics grabbed her interest that day. Her content was relatively harmless, with nothing too attention-grabbing, at least at first. As her personal life began to fracture, the tone shifted dramatically. It started with her getting divorced from her husband. It's unclear what the reason for this divorce was, possibly something to do with her deteriorating mental state.
Yeah, he probably saw the red flags, like, I can't do this shit.
Regardless of the reason though, it left her in charge of her 2 daughters. However, she didn't have any place to stay at the time. So
that'll do it.
Her friends allowed her to stay at one of their properties for free until they found a buyer for it. They were likely expecting to sell the home in a few months, but the process ended up taking 3 long years.
You gotta be careful with that shit too, because I feel like, could be wrong, but I feel like there's a law saying something where if you stay at a place for like a certain amount of time, it's like a month or something, it's like can legally be considered like your address where you live, and then you have to evict them type shit. And it's like, so you got, even with friends and family, you got to be careful, man. You got to be strict. I think that's why most hotels have a rule where you have to leave for 24 hours after a certain stay length or something like that, because they don't want to, get into that situation.
And when it was finally time to hand over the keys, Jessica intervened. Instead of being grateful for being able to stay there for 3 years for free, she refused to leave and even took her friend to court over it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. 3 years is enough to like try and get something going, you know what I mean, for yourself. Like, I understand it can be hard, but that's 3 years. And I don't know if she was paying rent or anything like that. If he wasn't, then like, what are you spending that money on? Like, you can figure something out in 3 years. Like I said, I hate to sound like mean or nothing, but like, damn, that's a long time for living in a house for free.
He understandably lost in court and was forced to move out. This upended the life she'd built over the last 3 years and marked the beginning of her downfall. The stress of losing her home, combined with her pre-existing mental conditions, proved disastrous. She refused to accept the reality and became delusional, thinking that the judges were part of some evil group alongside her family members and were out to get her and her daughters.
So the first person I would like to mention is Alan Berriman. he is my uncle, and he has been working with my other family members, a one Angie Griffith. She lives in Danielsville. And also a Denise Cantrell, who is my maternal parent. And my sister, Crystal Christian, okay? They've all been working in league with a judge, a magistrate judge that works at the Jackson County Courthouse named Benjamin Green.
Like, this shit is kind of sad to see in a way, because it's like people go through bullshit like this every day in their life. Like, everything is crazy for everybody right now. People have been homeless, people have done, but at the same time, like, a lot of people manage to hold on and figure stuff out for themselves, and I applaud that because it's not easy. And I almost feel bad for her because she just went through some shit and she couldn't figure it out, and it got to her mentally. I don't know if she has something else going on, and I'm not making an excuse for, because I'm sure if she's on this list, she probably did some heinous shit, and I'm not making an excuse for that. But it's just like, life can suck sometimes, man. This it's shitty, man. I don't know what to say.
He's been doing under the table type things that he's not supposed to be doing, and Alan Berryman and those mentioned afterwards have been in league with this particular judge individual.
And I feel bad for the kids too. They don't deserve this shit.
Steal my home from me.
Jessica began posting videos ranting about these made-up conspiracies, like how the government was trying to depopulate the world with the COVID vaccines.
Oh no, not the COVID shit, bro. Damn. It's like you have more important things to focus on right now. You need help.
Losing her grip on reality, even posting videos directly addressing the judge she believed had wronged her in the past.
Anyway, this message is for Benjamin Green. I know you're watching me, and I know you're scared. And you should be. Dingledorf, he's too scared. He's too scared to even try to communicate with me telepathically, but you're...
Hold on, who? Dingledorf is trying to communicate with you telepathically? What the fuck? What did she say?
I know you're watching me, and I know you're scared. And you should be. Dingledorf, he's too scared. He's too scared to even try to communicate with me telepathically, but...
What the
You're
fuck?
scared, aren't you, Benji? Ben. Good old Benji. You used to be a good person, didn't you, Benji? You did. You used to actually have the desire for justice.
Again, I feel bad for those
Desire
kids,
to be hurt
man.
by people. What happened?
Remember, it could always be worse. You think your shit is worse? It could always be worse, man.
What happened? Did you let the greed of the world get to you? Did you let that secret society that you're a part of talk you into all this stuff?
However, this was only the beginning. The situation truly began to unravel when her ex-husband filed for custody of their two daughters in mid-2021.
Thank God, bro.
Jessica didn't have a solid roof over her head and wasn't sending the two girls to school either. Her behavior online was also becoming more and more erratic with each passing day. In addition to her rambling about topics that made little sense, she also posted videos waving around the firearm she had, threatening anyone who wanted to get in her way. Put simply, she was
I hope she didn't hurt those kids, man. I really do.
becoming dangerous to her own children. Her ex-husband filed for temporary custody until Jessica found proper residence and got professional help for her degrading mental state. But in her delusions, Jessica saw this as yet another attack on her from the same group that took away her home.
Today is a rather unfortunate day, to be honest with you. I'm actually going to court today against some people that are trying to take my children from me. The same people that took my home from me. the Jackson County court system.
She still could have had a chance to stay with her daughters, but on the day of the hearing, she refused to enter the courthouse, further highlighting her unstable mental state to the judge. The custody was awarded to her ex-husband until Jessica was deemed capable of resuming responsibility.
What do you mean until? That should be like a permanent thing. I don't understand. What do you mean until? Just give him to the father. I'm assuming he's better off, and they're better off too, being around a parent that can actually take care of them properly.
This was a chance for her to actually work on improving her situation, but Jessica didn't see it that way. Sadly, she was already too far gone and decided to go on the run with her daughters instead. She stayed on the move for the next couple of months, moving from place to place, all while posting increasingly unhinged monologues on YouTube.
Wait, why didn't they take the kids like immediately? How did she get a chance to get away with the kids? I don't. What? Did I miss something?
Mine, mine. They're my babies. And I love them above anything else.
Well, you don't act like
I
it.
love God.
You definitely don't act like
do
it.
anything.
If you loved your kids and if you would do anything for your kids, like you're saying right now, you would have let them go somewhere where they're better protected and they're way better off for the time being, and working on yourself and figuring shit out. Like, it sucks, but goddamn, bro. Like I said, the kids don't deserve this.
Including lay my life down for them. And I know that's what you
You'll do anything, including laying your life down for them, except you won't go get a job and try to figure shit out, and you'll blame everyone else for your problems. Yeah, okay.
wish for.
Jessica also felt the need to record and post to YouTube almost everything that happened in her life. She'd gone as far as to instruct her daughters to start recording whenever anything notable happened. What she didn't know was that one of these recordings would end up scarring them for life. The incident happened on November 5th, 2021, with Jessica getting into an argument with the owners of the house she was living in. The dispute escalated to the point where the owners asked her to leave the house, and when she refused, they contacted the police to have her removed. However, as soon as the officers pulled into the driveway, Jessica opened the front door with her firearm in her hand and opened fire. One of the shots hit 43-year-old Sheriff's Deputy Lena Marshall, sending her to the hospital where she tragically passed away just a few days later.
God
The
damn,
officers
man.
opened fire in retaliation, hitting Jessica multiple times, all while her daughters heard and recorded everything inside the house. Jessica passed away on the spot, with her younger daughter posting the final video on YouTube with the heartbreaking title, "My mom is dead, I think," as recording and uploading to the internet was what Jessica had taught them to do.
Man, at least those kids are all right. That's all I can say. Cause I thought the entire time it was gonna end badly for those kids, but yeah, damn, that was kind of a depressing video to watch. I don't know why I decided to watch that, but this is a good channel. Definitely check them out if you don't. They always have like really good shit and they're straight to the point.